So we've got a subscriber strategy that was submitted. It's from Mike. It's called Big Mike Step Up Strategy. Let's check it out. So this subscriber strategy was submitted to roulettecruisin@gmail.com. It's called Big Mike Step Up Strategy. And he sent me the email. He said, what he says is, your first spin, use this pattern. So I'm going to put the graphic up right here. All right, and if you look at the layout, it shows there's one chip on 6 different splits. Okay, so we're going to play with $2 chips. So that means it's a $12 average to start. Okay, so he says, if that loses, repeat same pattern on second dozen. And that would be $24 bet. So I think what he's saying is, put this pattern on the first dozen. If that misses, then we add the next dozen to it. So then when you have 2 covered with the exact same pattern. Okay, and he says, if that loses, go up 1 step, another $2 each, which will be an actual $24 increase on it. He says, keep going up 1 step, no martingale. If you hit an outside number, keep the bet the same until you reach session profit. Once you reach session profit or hit a jackpot number, which based on the graphic here, the jackpots would be 5 and 8. And if you moved it over to the second dozen, it'd be 17-20. And if you moved it over to the third dozen, it would be 29-32. That would be jackpot numbers, I'm assuming. He says if you hit a jackpot number, start over on the other side of the board. So if we're all on the first and second, maybe go third and second. Maybe. I think that's kind of what he's suggesting here. He says I sometimes start with a dozen that hasn't hit in a while, or sometimes follow the trend. I usually play with $300 to $400 bankroll. If I lose, I guess the day wasn't my lucky day, and I try again later. All right, so here we go. So let's see if we can get it started. I want to set it the paper over here so that way I've kind of got a cheat sheet of what the payout should be to kind of help speed things along. Okay, so I'm going to take the graphic down. All right, so we're going to start with $400. We're going to start with $400. So $400. Remember your CPass card. They scan it, they give it back to you. That's how you get your points. All right. So $400 to the dealer. And we're going to play with colored chips. They're $2 chips, so this is 200 chips here, and 200. So let's get those out of the rack here. Now on the ship, they won't give you this many chips. Okay, they'll give you about $200 worth of chips, and then they would give you some black chips to go along with it, just to kind of because they don't keep that many chips at the table as far as colored chips go. All right, so here we go. All right, so it says the first bet should be the first dozen, which is 6 chips on there. So it's like, okay, do we want to just stick with that? I mean, that's what he said to do, so let's just do that. All right, so here we go. So there we go. So we have 6 chips out there. That's a $12 average right now, and we're going to try to go. 20 spins and see what it does. All right, 4. All right, so that's a win. All right, that pays 17 to 1. So there is 17. Now we're just going to reset. So we reset there, or should we go ahead and just move it? What do you say? If we won, we move it to the other end. I'll just go ahead and move it to the other end. Kind of what he suggested. So here we go. We're going to move the pattern over here. All right, there we go. Bring this extra back to our rack. So when y'all send me a strategy, to roulettecruisin@gmail.com, you kind of send it to me and give me some direction on what to do if it wins, if it loses. A layout like you sent me for that graphic, that helps a lot. All right, so 9. All right, so that's a loss. All right. So it said, so if the first step loses, so let's go ahead and reset that. And then it says add, it says if loses, repeat same pattern on second dozen. Okay, so we're just going to put the pattern on the second dozen. Now we've gone from $12, now we have $24 out on the table right now. So this is one of those strategies that, as far as your average goes, it may be a little difficult to keep up with it. What would this be? This would be third spin. You know, because 1 minute you'll be at 12, you'll be at 24, you'll be at 48, you'll be, you know, so it kind of goes all over the place a little bit. All right, 17. So that's a perfect hit right there. That's what we needed to have happen. Okay, so that pays 17 and 17, which would be 34. All right, so there's 34 chips right there. And let's see. Let's switch ends with it. I think that's kind of what he's suggesting to do. Go back and forth. All right. Bring all this back to our rack. All right. There we go. We're set up. We're ready to go again. And I would, if I played this strategy, if I know I'm in profit. All right, we're in profit for sure. What I might do is, if I get in profit, I might ask the dealers to start paying me with cash chips. So that way I know I'm going to recoup some money. All right, so 34. All right, that's a loss. Okay, so we're going to reset right here. And then we're going to add the second dozen. Okay. All right, Mike, I hope I'm doing this correctly. I know it says if it loses, repeat same pattern on second dozen. So I'm thinking this is what we're supposed to be doing. I've kind of played it out where I didn't add it. I just kept building up 1 dozen, and it didn't work very well. So I believe this is the direction you expected me to play it. All right, so 15. All right, so that pays 17. All right, so now we're going to start over. Well, he said leave it the same, didn't he? Until you get a, that's the part that gets a little confusing. I think we're going to leave it the same. I think that's what he's wanting us to do. Because we didn't hit a jackpot. We hit on the outside. Okay, so we're going to bring that back to the rack. Because he says if that loses, go up 1 step, add $2 on each, keep going, no martingale. If you hit an outside number, keep the bet the same until you reach session profit. So we're going to keep the bet the same because we did not hit a jackpot number. I don't know. I'm hoping this is correct. I hate to play somebody's strategy and screw it up for them, and not give it a good fair chance. But anyway, if I get a second win on this, then we're just going to cut back down to 1. How about that? All right, 22. Okay, so that's probably what I would do with it. If I had 2 wins with it, I would probably just go back to step 1. All right, so that should be a 17. Okay, so there's 17 right there. All right, so we're going to go back down now to step 1. Okay, so we are in profit. So if I get a win, and I'm probably going to start paying with cash chips and start pocketing those cash chips. Okay, 15. That's a loss, but I can't stay in profit for some reason. All right, so here we go. So we're going to reset this one. And then we're adding this second dozen here. Okay. Have you got a strategy you would like me to try out? Send it to me, roulettecruisin@gmail.com. 30 spins. Buy-in has to be between $200 to $400. Send me all the rules. What to do when you win, what to do when you lose, and when to walk away. Can't wait to see them. I'm kind of liking how it switches sides. So we're just switching from one end to the other, just back and forth, and hopefully we'll catch it. Okay, 27. Okay, so that's a win. And then what I did a few minutes ago is I rebet the exact same. So trying to get 2 wins out of it. Okay. So let's see. See if we can get a second win out of it before dropping back down to step 1. I think that's what he's wanting me to do. Okay, 1. All right, so that was a loss there. All right, so now since that loss, we've got to go 2 chips on each. So, yeah, so his bet progression is $12, $24, $48, $72, $96. Okay, so this is adding up as far as the amounts go. But now we're at $48 on the table right now, which is the struggle with the average that I was talking about. Okay, 16. All right, so that's going to pay 34 chips. And all right, so there's 34 right there. Let's see. Now, according to what he says, we're supposed to stay at that level until we hit a jackpot number. So we're going to go back. We're going to put 2 chips on each again. We're going to leave $48 out there working. Maybe we'll get lucky and hit one of these jackpot numbers. If not, I mean, if we hit one of the outside numbers, we're going to pull it all down and go back to step 1. That's what I would do with it. Okay, 27. So it worked out. We have 2 wins with it set up that way, so that should be another 34 chip. Okay. All right. So now we're going to reset back to step 1 and bring all this back to our rack. So far, the strategy is holding up. And we're on spin number 12. Okay, 10. Okay. All right, just going to pay 17. There's 17. All right, we won right there, so we're gonna switch ends now. I'm sure I'm screwing something up, but whatever I'm doing seems to be working. So let's go with it. Okay, 11. All right, so that's a loss right there. And we're going to reset here, and we're going to add the second dozen. Okay, 28. All right, it's an outside number. That's going to pay 17. Okay, there's 17. Now we're just going to rebet the exact same because it hit an outside, it didn't hit a jackpot, so I think we're looking for 2 wins in a row set this way. Because if we could get 2 wins in a row, that would essentially be the exact same thing as if we hit a jackpot once. So, at least that's what I think. All right, 3. And of course, it wouldn't go that way. Okay, so now we're going to increase to 2 chips each. Okay. So we got $48 out there again. And this is spin number 16. All right, 12. All right, we just missed it. All right, so now we got to go to 3 chips each. All right. We're going to get it to work or what? So far, it hadn't been too bad. But it could take a turn for the worst. Okay, 13. Eesh. All right. It's about to get real expensive. All right, so now we have to go to 4 chips. Okay, now we're set. 4 chips each. So we're at, what are we at? $96 now? Yep. So $96 out on the table right now. 7. Okay, so that was 4 chips each. Now we got to go 5. Okay, now we're at 5 chips each. So that's $120 out on the table right now. Okay, 28. All right, so we got to win. Okay. All right, so there's 5 chips there. So 5 chips, that pays $170. So let's go ahead. Let's get our chips here. So there's 40, 80, 120, 160. All right, $170. And because it hit an outside number, according to what he says, we're supposed to keep it at that level and hopefully get another, I'm going to say another hit or one of the jackpot numbers. Okay. All right, we're going to bring all this back to our rack. So we're at 5 chips each, $120. This has been 20. So we've survived for the most part 20 spins, but it's getting it's just gotten real expensive. Okay, 13. That was a miss. Okay. All right. So now it's what do we do? We've gone 20 spins, and our next bet's going to be six chips each. Either we just accept, hey, we just had a rough go, so that's $200. That was a loss of just about $200. We're just over $220 right here. So let's say, based on what he says, you got to. I don't even know what to say. Let's go one more. Let's give it a chance. We got to give it a chance to see if we can get it back. All right, so we're going to go 6 chips each on all of them. Let's see. All right, so let's hope it hits. Let's hope it hits one of those doubles. Okay. Getting that. Okay. All right, there we go. Now we're set again. So now we're at 6 chips each. So this should be $144. $144 on the table. And I don't even know where your average would be at this point in time. And 14. Okay. Only one hit. So let's see. That's two. Okay. So with 6 chips on there, is a $204 payout. So here's $204. Okay, there's $204. We could collect that and just say, hey, that's good for the night. So instead of risking it again, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so there's 200. There is 40, 80. So 290. 292. So $292 is what we're leaving with. So that's $108 loss. So $108. We went 22 spins. Not even sure where the average would be, because you start at $12 and we went all the way up to we had $144 on the table chasing it. All right. So let's just pretend. We went ahead and put the 6 chips back out there again. And we went one more spin. Let's just see what might have happened. Of course, when you do this, when you cash out, you just want to walk away from the table. You don't want to see what happened after you left, because this obviously is going to hit something that you should have been betting on, right? All right, 0. All right. So proof that we're glad we walked away. So we're down $108 for the session. So what about this strategy? The progression's not bad. It's just the chasing the losses is where we get in trouble. Really difficulty on kind of saying what. I don't want to say I don't like it. I don't want to say I love it either. I don't want to be dishonest about it. I I would have a hard time playing this strategy. You get into a spot to where you have opportunity, but you're putting a lot at risk. And to be honest, the longer you play, the worse your return gets, if that makes any sense. I've run this strategy actually 4 or 5 sessions, to be honest. And every time it's gotten to where you get that about 10 spins in, and it's like, you should go ahead and walk away. Okay, so you get a few wins under your belt, probably just go ahead and walk away. So as far as a long-term strategy goes, I don't think this is it, but it could work if the will is in your favor for that session. But I will say, every session I've tried, I haven't been profitable on any of them. So a couple of them I lost everything, but and then one of them I actually put in another $200 to be able to stack a few more chips, and went up to like 10 with this strategy here to go all the way up to. You've got to have like $700, $700 to $800 in this strategy to actually go for a lot longer. Okay, to keep running after it. But if it keeps hitting the wrong dozen, then you're kind of screwed with it. All right. So Mike, I appreciate you sending me the strategy. I probably wouldn't play this on the ship just because the way the average is. You start at $12, and then you could go all the way up to where we were, $120 out on the table. So when they come over to check your average, you may be in the middle somewhere. They may have you at $60, $70, $80 for this average for this, but you can't never tell. You can't determine, or you can't depend on what average it could be. Okay, so for me, I probably wouldn't play it for a length of time trying to get points, but it is something I would try to see if I could get a couple of hits. And like I said, maybe limit it to 10 spins. Maybe limit it to 2 wins or something like that and walk away. If you can get that to happen, and take your winnings and then go try a different strategy. But anyway, again, Mike, appreciate you sending me the strategy. So that was Mike's step-up strategy, and appreciate him sending it in. And if you have a strategy you would like me to try out, you can email it to me at roulettecruisin@gmail.com, and I'll review it. I'll put it through a few spins, and we'll just see how it goes. But for today, that's what we had, Mike's step-up strategy. And if you would, like this video, and if you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button for me. And again, until next time, happy cruising. We'll see you.